As I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then storming weather's go too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done, but the time is hit you, you're not surprised.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom. What is on today's agenda? Okay, we are here with Snort Burnell, Dspgaming. No retirement plans and no retirement plan, and begging for money until the end. We also have Mr. Huffstuffs here with more of DSP's failure in progress. This was back when he rage quit Dragon Ball FighterZ, so that should be something entertaining. And let's get into the matter at hand. So, retirement. Now, there is a common misconception, and I for one have to admit that I have propagated that, and I was wrong for that, and I apologize, because I'm going to make mistakes, and I'll more than likely continue to make mistakes. So, I shouldn't have a problem owning up to that. That Phil does not have a retirement plan. He has nothing set up downrange. Now, what is a retirement plan? Retirement plan at its basis, which could consist of an IRA, a Roth IRA, a nest egg of some, well, a nest egg is essentially another word for a retirement plan, but like hedge fund, CDs, whatever the case may be, that help you save in the long term. Phil doesn't have any of those things. Stocks and bonds also are another thing. Phil doesn't have any of these things. He doesn't have any of those things because he doesn't believe in any of them. He has said numerous times that he believes stocks and bonds are nothing more than scams. That, when money was really good for him, he didn't think about saving for various reasons. He doesn't have anything set up. He's 36 years old and he has no retirement. Now, that in itself, statistically, isn't exactly... it's not completely uncommon. Believe it or not. Most people don't actually start planning for their retirement until they're 40, or even start some type of retirement. So Phil is behind the 8 ball, but then again, he's not, so to speak. Unlike most people, Phil probably made more money before he turned 36 than most people have, or even will, to some degree. But I had said that Phil has nothing planned for himself, no retirement, no savings, no nest egg, and he's not thinking down in the long term, down range, if you will. But I was wrong. Phil does. That's what Twitch is. Twitch, is the nest egg, and the pig cult is his retirement fund. They will be the ones to provide Phil in his later years, or at least so he thinks. With that being said, him talking about retirement to people who give him money every day, who come to this man for whatever reason, I use the term man loosely, for life advice, who made all of these different mistakes and blamed it on somebody else or something else. For them to come to him now and say, hey, Dave, do you have anything set up for your retirement? Do you have an IRA? Do you have a nest egg? I'd like to have some advice on that. What can Phil really provide you, if anything? He might have had some retirement set up back when he was working at the helicopter dealership or factory or whatever it was, and I would assume his father was the one who pushed that upon him. But he spent that already. That money's long gone. Sorry about that. But that money's long gone. So outside of that, he probably has never saved a dime in his life. He lives off credit cards. He lives off bank loans. He lives off other people's generosity. It's all he does. It's all he knows. So, yeah. So basically, if you're a fan of DSP and you're watching this video right now, you're his retirement plan. Congratulations. So, for any of you guys like Swaggins, who's given off ridiculous amounts of money, not exactly where Brightside Viking is at yet, but ridiculous amounts of money, good luck with that later. Good luck with that later. And in truth, you get a retirement plan you get a retirement plan, or you start one, I should say, to plan for your future, to look downrange, to forego things that you want now, or need, or feel that you need now, I should say, for something that you really will need in like 20, 30, 40 years, depending on your age. And that's where a lot of self-discipline comes into play. That's where being diligent and looking at investments and always looking at improving your situation comes into play. It's an appreciation for yourself later on down the line. Because not everything that you want to buy now is going to mean shit to you. Dave is a pretty good example of that. He's got all those statues, he's got all those different pictures and stuff like that he spent hundreds of dollars on. All to show his success. Doesn't mean a damn thing now. Every time he walks down that hallway and sees all those pictures, all it does is reminds him of his failure. His failure with Panda, his failure with that life, or that part of his life, I should say, a few years back. All those statues and everything that he glorified, that could have been worth something if he left them in the box, or if he just took good care of them in general. Glorified paperweights, if that. You really think someone who's still complaining to this day about some action figure from when he was 15 years from 15 years old, when he was 15 years old. So we're talking about 21 years ago. You really think he has his future lined up for himself? I mean, you can look at him now. The man's on screen for you. Does he really look like he's got his shit together? Now, as it pertains to begging for money till the end, what other option does he really have? I mean, he could go back to school, further his education. He could do some research online and try to brush himself up a little bit on in his field that he's currently in. He could go and get himself a part-time job. He could go back into his field, which is extremely outdated. Start from the ground up, certainly going in at entry level, and try to build himself back up again. He could do those things. But that's not an option for Dave. The real option is, I'm going to sit here and ask these children that he has, in some cases, 20 plus years on, to take care of me. Because I provide you guys with all this entertainment. And I have so for years. And it's time to pay the piper. And I will sit there and ban people, and I will sit there and shit on people for using silly ass memes, using detractor quotes, and this, that, and the third. But I have not a lick of shame for begging people for money while I sit on my couch rage quitting games. Love seat, sorry. And rage quit games. Not an iota of pride over that. But I give a damn about what some people say about me when it comes to Penne. Or when they call me Dave. Or when they bring up my gout. Which apparently is hereditary. But this is who people want to look up to. This is who people want to protect. This is who people, like Wings recently, who said Dave never did nothing wrong. Okay. Fair enough. Wings, you're on the menu too, buddy. Your video's coming. Give it time. It's coming. Low tier God takes priority over you. So, this is what encompasses Dave Bennett's legacy, in truth. So I apologize about my mistake saying that he had no retirement fund, because apparently he does. The question is, what will fall first, him or the piggy banks? Only time will tell. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG network and productions. You guys all know the slogan. God damn it, don't I look clean? I look clean, don't I? I'm so clean. It's time to watch me work.
Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
I really do feel that as a gamer, I've matured a bit. I've figured out how to handle my anger. That was good. And I figured out how to basically handle difficult games. I've definitely matured a lot when it comes to gaming. I was Mr. Rage, right? I used to be the guy known for flipping
What about
out
when
on...
it comes to life? How about that? I understand that your whole identity is based off gaming. Fair enough. But what about your life in general? Where have you matured there? Because that, Dave, is going to be important soon. It's important now, to be honest with you, but you don't see it. Just asking.
Games on the internet. And I just don't really do that much anymore because I think now I'm more resigned, I'm more mature. Wow. Unbelievable. You are a liar, and you are a fucking bold-faced, dirty liar. Shout out to That Anana Bunny, who cheered and said, people say you don't brush your teeth. Brush your teeth on stream and prove them wrong. What? Who the hell says I don't brush my teeth, and why would they say that? The New Phase of Creation says, I don't wash my hands. That's disgusting. Oh my god. Ah. Oh.
I don't know about that, but he certainly sniffs his hands a lot, to be honest with you. Actually, so does Wings. He does that a lot too. Weird. Very, very weird.
No. Oh, that's disgusting. That is really nasty. Oh, man. Come on. Some disgusting individual who...
What is going on? People say the weirdest shit. Is this like another meme? Phil doesn't brush his teeth. Actually, in reality, not only do I brush my teeth, but I use mouthwash every day, too.
What? 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 What the fuck? What the fuck? Are you fucking serious?
I actually am pretty clean, you know, in the oral department.
I know you're lying. Silver-tongued talker, right? Oh, I'm just gonna say it one way, and hopefully you'll believe it, even though that's not the truth. And that's literally what's happening here. The guy's a liar. The guy's a fucking blatant liar and lying to everyone. But people are believing it because they don't know any better.
I try to keep my teeth good. Because it sucks, because I have bad teeth. Like, in my family, we have bad teeth. It's just a problem. My mom had lots of teeth problems.
That's a problem? Why is it always his family's fault? You know what I'm saying? He blames his mother for his thin and greasy hair. He blames his aunt for his gout. Now he's saying that his family just has bad teeth. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's always something. Seriously. It's always something. Oh, man.
Tons of, dental shit done over the years. So, in general, I try to brush and mouthwash and everything. So, I don't even know what's going on. Reading the stream chat, just some random stuff. I don't know what's happening.
Jake Kramer cheered. He says, do you think you'll be playing video games and eating cheers and tips when you're 50? What about retiring? Dude, Jay Kramer, on what planet do you live? Do you really think that someone who barely can pay his bills right now has any plans to retire? The bottom line, guys, is...
Yeah, because you're 36. Retirement age is what? 69? 71? Something like that. It's either 69 or 68 or 71. Something like that. You still got a couple of years left in you. So, yeah, maybe in, 10, 20 years, you might get your shit together and want to retire. But yet again, Phil can't see things in the long term. He can only see past his own hoof. So, yeah, it's going to be hard for him. It's going to be really, really hard for him. Which is the sad part. But that's where you guys come into play. Meaning, Phil's cult, fan base, friends, not friends, whatever.
I hope that I can continue to be here and entertain you and be honest with you about games on a daily basis, forever. As long as I want to do it, as long as I'm capable of doing it. I love this. I love begging. In one way or another, I'll probably be working till I'm dead. And I've kind of accepted that reality. I'm not like a normal person who's working a career, who's building up retirement fund money, and one day I could sit back in a lawn chair sipping a Mai Tai and live out my golden years in peace. It's never going to happen. My
Look
life...
at this negative piece of shit. Anyway, here's another thing. Phil could go and talk to a financial expert. I mean, some of them give free consultations. Other than that, he might have to, pay. I mean, he could go to his local bank or credit union, whatever he has, and ask them about that. And maybe, just maybe, get some sound financial advice based on his income, and they can consolidate all of his debt together and give him an idea of how he could better pay all this stuff off. Couldn't hurt. It's a resource. He should use it. He uses everything else, so why not that? But he won't, because either A, he doesn't want to know the truth himself. B, he's lying and he's not in as bad of a spot as he thinks he's in. Or C, he thinks he has it all under control while feeding the propaganda to everybody else that he's literally at wit's end. They all kind of tie together either which way. Huh.
Sadly, has taken a turn where I don't even know if I'd be able to get a job in what's considered the private sector because of the amount of crazy slander and defamation about me on the internet. Why on this planet do we have to always play the blame game? Most employers have background checks. The first thing they'll do is search my name and find a bunch of videos saying horrendous things about me that aren't true. And probably wouldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole. And so, more than likely, I'm just going to have to keep doing what
Burnell brings up a good point, too. Yeah, he's definitely going to come in at entry level. For sure. Because he's been out of the field way too long. First off. Second off, he doesn't have any real... It's not even just the fact that he's out of his element. Because he's been out of the field too long. He doesn't have any people skills. He really doesn't. And he's and believe it or not, he's actually kind of short-tempered in a lot of ways. He just doesn't have it in him. You know what I mean? And regimented, he's not regimented properly. He's not going to be able to get up at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning and do what normal people do. Not at all. And then keep in mind, Cat works 4 days. And they only have one car. Some people say 2, but they only have one car. At least that I know of. So, and they can't share cars. They can't have one person drop somebody off and then they pick them up later and so on and so forth. That can't happen. At least that's what we were told with Panda. You never know. You know what I'm saying? That's just way too difficult. It's just it couldn't work out that way. It's impossible. It's implausible. It's not viable at all. So you see how Phil is consistently boxing himself into a corner and then produces all these excuses, which are nothing more than a deterrent. It's not a barrier. They're just deterrents on why he can't do things. And he's okay with that. This man's future is as uncertain as when the next time it's going to rain. And even then, they can tell you when the next time it's going to rain. But yet, he has no clue on what his future is. He wants to live now and in the moment. And that's all he knows, that's all he cares about. Especially if it's positive. When the negative things that happen in your life, the setbacks, if you will, are where the lessons are really to be learned. Excuse me. At least one would think. DSP
Doing for as long as I can do it and make ends meet and go from there, you know? And, you know, yeah, if I'm 50, 60 years old and I still have to play video games for a living, maybe the formula will change. I mean, just take a look. In the 10 years I've done this, right? It's gone from just sitting by myself with a camera pointed at a TV crooked, doing commentary, to direct capture, high quality video, high quality audio, live streaming, interaction, webcam. It's a completely different thing today than what I did just 10 years ago. In another 10 years, it could be completely different again. It
Either
really
which
could
way,
be.
though, he'll still be behind the 8 ball. He'll never be truly up to date. He won't. Because change is uncomfortable for Dave. Transitioning is a burden to Dave. And as long as these things hold him back mentally, it'll hold him back physically. And as long as it keeps holding him back physically, his content will suffer. I mean, the truth is the truth.
You know what I mean? So I just kind of shrug. I'm like, you know, it is what it is. That's my reality, you know.
McDonald's.
So, you know, I'm just going to keep doing what I love as long as I can do it and then worry about the rest when I get to it, right? McDonald's has now accepted my job application.
Jay Kramer Cheers says, I live on Earth, that's why I'm asking. Are you thinking about that because I put away money for
I'll take a
retirement?
20 piece, and I'll take a strawberry shake. You can keep the fries. And Szechuan sauce if you guys have it. If not, I'll take... give me barbecue and sweet and sour, I guess. That'll do for now, I suppose.
That's why I asked. Jay Kramer, at one point, I was putting money away for retirement. You know, when I had my office job, okay, I was putting away money for retirement. And actually, the first 2 to 3 years that I was doing this for a living, I was putting away money for retirement. Then I moved out here to the West Coast, and, you know, it got expensive, which is fine, but I still had money for retirement. But then, guess what happened? Gee, let's see. Let me count the amount of fucked up stuff that happened to me, you know, and we could go through it. But I don't really want to. But you guys know the story of all the terrible things people did to me.
I'm more about looking forward than looking back.
I can't even keep the propaganda going anymore. He's like, I can tell you guys a story. I don't really want to. Because either A, all the aspects of the original story has left him, and he hears how detractors keep saying that how he's constantly revitalizing the lies. There's a revision of history, so he doesn't want to fall into the trap. Which is absolutely hilarious. Or B, he's just lazy. He's just so lazy that he doesn't want to put it out there anymore. He's just so tired of it. As if, you know, in his own words. And that's a shame. That's a shame. Because I'd like to hear a 2018 update of the DSP I'm Such a Victim timeline. And all of the nasty, disgusting things that people did to him back in the day that led to the failure of his business now. I'd like to hear that. Not that we don't hear that daily anyway. But I'm just saying. For posterity's sake, of course.
Living in the past. You need to move on. You guys may be living in the future. I'm in the past, baby.
You know, the defamation on YouTube that I had no recourse from. The false copyright strikes. Like, there's basically 3-4 key things that happened that made my viewership... Again, I used to have 10 million views a month on YouTube. Now I get between 1 and 2. So, just think about that. If I had 5 times the amount of income on YouTube now than I have, yeah, then probably I'd be putting money away for retirement. But what ended up happening was I came out here, you know, making one amount of money.
He would still complain. He would still complain. He really would. Because, let's go off of Snort Burnell's estimates here. So we're talking about 20 to 30,000 per month. Let's say if we go at the highest point of that of 30,000 a month, what is that? $360,000 a year? And that's not counting Patreon? he'd still bitch. He'd still complain. Because he would misuse his money. He really would. He would still misuse his money. And that's at the $30,000 point. You go to $20,000, that still puts him at what? About $240,000 a year? He'd still bitch on that too. So, and yet again, not counting Patreon. And then not counting what's going on Twitch. You know what I'm saying? He'd still bitch and complain. Regardless. It's never enough. And with that amount of money, he still wouldn't save a lick of it. It's his nature. It's what he is. A pig has to live in its squalor. No matter what.
Within 2 years, I made half of that. And within 3 years, I made about a third of that. And, you know, now I'm living on a balance between the remnants of what I can make from YouTube and my new income from Twitch, which is great. I'm not complaining. But I'm in such a bad situation because for 2-3 years, I wasn't making enough money to support what I was doing. And I was charging everything. And I was taking out loans. And I spent all my retirement money.
Then maybe you should have lived within your means. Maybe you should have really sat down and looked at your budget and like what he actually needs to pay for on a monthly basis, and then look at what money he has coming in and match that up. And whatever you don't need, maybe you need to drop. Because it's funny how, you know, he's in these financial straits, but yet they can afford these mail order meals. Which seems kind of strange because they have a card, or they have an account at least with Sam's. They could just go out there and buy a bunch of food in bulk and actually get more for their dollar. James the Lesser Express Lane went over this. So, shouts out to him. So, he has options. So, if we're doing mail, so you don't want to do DSP Tries It. You guys started to go to Sam's because this chick really wanted to cook. Like, that was her passion in life. And now we're going into mail order meals, and now he's back to the single life eating basically over-seasoned and probably slightly burnt turkey patties. It makes one wonder. Things aren't squaring up. They really aren't. He always has the 3-month-old sauce, that family sauce in the freezer. He can always thaw that out for his penne. Easy to eat.
You know, to pay the bills. And now at least I'm in a situation where, you know, at least it's under control, but it just sucks the situation I'm in. You know, again.
Basically what you're asking me about this stuff is incredibly personal. Like, I'm going to open my fucking balance book and show you my spreadsheets of my finances, and I'm not going to do that. No, I don't have any money for retirement, and right now I can't do it. I don't even have enough money to pay my taxes. How am I going to save money for retirement? Okay, where's the evidence? Present evidence of what you're saying. There's no way you could just lie, and never have a fact behind it and expect this story to hold. When in reality, I knew eventually it was going to blow up anyway, because again, there was no factual evidence. It was a complete fabricated lie. What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar. Phil's a racist. Phil's a scammer. DSP's a pedophile. DSP is a thief. DSP is a greedy fuck.
This guy's a bitch.
I have a micro penis.
Wow, that seemed a little shorter than I thought, but it's okay. It's no problem. I'm sure Kat hears that a lot too. In any case, there you guys go. It just goes to show that when you don't appreciate what you have, and when you don't have any forethought, you don't have any planning, shit becomes a problem. And this is the funny thing. When you look at people like DSP, when you look at people like Wings of Redemption and whatnot, and then you look at people like the Rad Brad, and you look at people like Maximilian, they did well by their money. They did the, you know what I'm saying, like they invested it well, not just in themselves, but in their business, in their channels, in their brands, because that's what they have. They have brands. In their brands and whatnot. And they, at any given time, despite all the massive growth that they saw, realized that this could easily fall apart at any given time. So you put the money away in case shit happens. But when you look at people like Wings and DSP, They thought, oh, well, this shit's gonna last forever. It's gonna be all gravy, baby. Milk and honey, if you will. Like this, like Gautopia was Rome or some shit. Maybe he forgot that part of the lesson, but Rome fell. Just to let you know, Dave. Rome fell. So, kind of for some of the same reasons, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? But anyway, we'll talk about that history lesson later. Which leads to him in the situation that he's in now. Which is rather sad, to be honest. And now look at him. Talk shit about other people, call them Muppets, and he's here strangling himself. Thinking about his past, the last couple of years, and realizing, you know what? I'm stupid. I'm a goddamn idiot. I really should have saved that money, and I really should have lived within my means, and I wouldn't have had all this credit card debt. I wouldn't have had these loans that I can't pay off with this high interest that's growing year by year. Imagine that. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and just see him finish the job on himself. Let's just gotta do that.
Alright, I'm not dead, but I swear to God I wish I fucking was.
Now the scary part is, there's probably some truth to that. That's actually the sad part. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network and Productions. I am your host, /anchor, GTG, and I'm signing off. End of broadcast.